All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most basic, but also one of the most powerful ideas in all of programming. Without this one thing, pretty much none of your favorite apps or games would even work. Let's jump right in. I mean, really think about it for a second. How does your favorite app just know your name when you open it? Or when you crush your high score in a game, how does it remember that number for the next time you play? It kind of feels like magic, right? Well, it's not magic. The secret, the real hero working behind the scenes, is a simple but incredibly powerful concept called a variable. And trust me, it's the quiet hero behind every single piece of software you use. So to really wrap our heads around this, let's just forget about code for a minute. Let's think about something way, way simpler. Let's think about a secret box. Now, the official textbook definition would tell you that a variable is a container for storing information. And, that's technically right, but it's also kind of boring. And honestly, we can do a lot better. And this is the key. Forget the word container. Just picture a plain old cardboard box. Seriously, that's it. A variable is just a box you can put information into with a label on the front so you always know what's inside. Okay, so we've got this idea of a labeled box. Simple enough, right? So how do we actually use these boxes when we're writing code? Let's take a look inside. All right, let's pretend we're building an app and we need it to remember a user's name. So what do? We grab one of our empty boxes and we slap a label on it, a label that says name. Simple. This tells our program, hey, whatever goes in this box, it's going to be a name. So how do we get something into the box? Well, in code, it looks just like this. Now that equals sign, and this is super important, it's not about math here. It's more like an arrow. It's an instruction that says, take the thing on the right and put it inside the box on the left. So we're putting Sarah inside our box labeled name. And see those quotation marks? That's just how we tell the program, hey, this is text. But here's the cool part. These boxes aren't just for text. They can hold all kinds of information. So let's say we also need to store the user's age. No problem. We just grab another box. We label this new box age, and then we use that exact same instruction. But look really closely here. The number 19 doesn't have quotes around it, and that's on purpose. That tells the program this isn't just text, this is a real number you can do math with. And just like that, our app has two pieces of information stored away, ready to use whenever we need them. Okay, so making boxes for names and ages, it seems pretty simple. But you might be sitting there thinking, so what? Why do we even bother with all this? I mean, really, why is this seemingly small idea such a huge deal? Well, let's break down why this simple concept is pretty much the foundation for everything that comes next. There are three massive reasons. First up, reuse. We can store Sarah in that name box just once, but then use it everywhere, on a welcome screen, a profile page, an email, without ever having to retype it. Second, flexibility. This is huge. Let's say Sarah has a birthday. We only have to change the value in the age box from 19 to 20. That's it. The rest of our code that uses that box just updates automatically. And finally, readability. This is so important for us humans. Seeing a box labeled user age makes way more sense than seeing a random number 19 just floating in the code. It tells us exactly what that number means. That last point about making code easy to read, that brings us to our final, and maybe the most practical tip of all. Let's call it the golden rule. Seriously, if you only take one thing away from this explainer, make it this. The labels you put on your boxes are everything. They are your notes to your future self and to anyone else who might ever read your code. I mean, just look at the difference here. When you see a variable called student name, you know instantly what's inside. But X1? What is that? It could be anything. A clear descriptive label is literally the difference between code that's a breeze to understand and code that's a total mystery. So let's tie this all together. That really is the big secret. The next time you hear a programmer use the word variable, all you have to do is picture a box with a really clear label holding one piece of information for your program. It's such a simple idea, but it's the idea that makes everything else possible. So every time an app welcomes you by name or a game flashes your high score on the screen, now you know how it works. It's all thanks to these simple, labeled boxes. So now that you know the secret to making software remember things, what information would you want to store in your very first box?